Damn, Gary, I'm thinking you want those words back. Not much ado about nothing. I don't know, man. Doesn't seem like there's anything wrong. I don't really like it. And that meant so much to me. That's why you go. The angst towards Mets broadcaster Gary Cohen, I think it's warranted. Gary Cohen is a legend in the broadcast business. I don't know whether people in New York like him, dislike him. When I hear him do a game, I'm cool with him. But he decided, for some reason, to interrupt an absolutely insane, crazy, out-of-this-world nuts pennant race between the Mets and the Cubs where, the Cubs won yesterday, but they blew a 6-1 lead, and the Mets are hanging on by a thread over the reeling after sweeping the Cubs Reds. Anyway, back to the question at hand. He inserted his own opinion on Cubs' decision to excuse rookie Matt Shaw from a game so that he could attend his friend Charlie Kirk's funeral. That's really weird. No, that's really weird. A close friend of yours passes away. Man, look, I'm the hardest guy on this stuff. I am. I had a kid, and I was only going to have a kid in May, August, or the first week in June. Now, I know kids are a blessing. I know we're all supposed to be. I am, and I love it, and it's the best thing ever. But I'm that guy that usually says, no, man, you got to hang around here. But when your friend is assassinated, I don't know, man. It doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with leaving a freaking pennant race for a day. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, the Cubs aren't in a pennant race. They are in a race to secure, like the second wild card and not the third, or the first, not the second. Okay, fine. But it's not like you're battling to get into the playoffs. And in my opinion, neither matter. Here's what Gary Cohen, the Mets announcer, had to say.
Home fourth inning. Oscar Brosbon's retired 5 in a row. Matt Shaw leads off for the Cubs. He had a base hit his first time up. Shaw had Cubs World in a tizzy this weekend when he was not here for the Cubs game with the Reds. Game they lost 1-0, and in which his lack of presence was felt. It was later revealed that he had been given permission to attend Charlie Kirk's funeral. And I don't want to talk about any of the politics of it, but the thought of leaving your team in the middle of a race for any reason other than a family emergency really strikes me as weird.
Man, Gary Cohen, the guy talking there, missed a game this season due to the death of his dog. Here we go.
I want to thank you guys and Steve for doing such a great job covering for me on Friday night. It was a rough day for my wife Lynn and I. We had to say goodbye to our beloved Lily, who passed away at the age of 13. Great Danes are only supposed to live 6 to 8 years, and she gave us so much pleasure for so far beyond that. She was a sweet, gentle soul, and we're going to miss her terribly.
It's tough to lose your pets. They get a piece of your heart.
Like, I get what he is doing here. He said unless it's a family member, and people do consider pets family members, so I understand where he could not be espousing as a hypocrite. But come on. Look. Here's the deal. This is weird for Matt Shaw to leave the Cubs to go to a memorial of his friend assassinated in cold blood in front of the world. Now, you don't go to memorials for the dead person. You go to memorials and funerals for the family, to comfort, show support for the wife, the children. That's what you go to memorials for. There's a guy we have on our show, Tim Doyle. He's a betting guy. I worked with him 1 year at the Big Ten Network, and we hit it off. Talk on the phone, not very much anymore, but used to some. When my father passed away in 2014, there was a long line outside the funeral home, and there was Tim Doyle. And I got goosebumps right now talking about it because Tim Doyle showed up at my dad's memorial. And that meant so much to me. That's why you go. I remember Coach Knight going, I don't go to funerals and I don't go to weddings. I said, well, all right, well, why should I go to a funeral? I said, well, it's not about the dead person. It's about the family, the kids, you know, maybe having a good moment because the coach of Indiana's there, or maybe having a good moment because their friend, Matt Shaw, regardless if he's a baseball player or just a good friend, is there to give Erica and the kids a hug and show that he meant enough to leave a team in the middle of a pennant race. I'm not going to get on Gary Cohen about this. It's you get in a bubble in sports, and I did for years. You get in a bubble where it's the most important thing to everybody because it's the most important thing to you. You've been doing this a long time. You spent an entire summer. I got to move over here to the X. You've spent an entire summer with this team. Now you're at the end, try to get in, you know. But the Cubs are in the playoffs. I mean, if I'm going to do it practically and not emotionally, the Cubs are in the playoffs. I mean, they're not going down the stretch in 1969, wire to wire against the Mets, the Miracle Mets against the Cubs, and a black cat comes in front of Santo. They're not doing that. No, I don't really like it. Matt Shaw, to his credit, said, hey, look, man, I'm cool with whatever comes my way. It's pretty good by Matt Shaw, pretty grounded.
All the veteran players that I've talked to, and really the whole team, having their support was really important to me. And then, I mean, Charlie, he was someone that I met at the apartments in Arizona where I lived, and then someone who was one of the biggest Cubs fans I ever met. And he texted me after every game, great win for the Cubbies, and he was super, super supportive of us, and obviously someone who was really faithful, so we connected on that front as well. But yeah, I mean, his wife Erica had texted me asking me if I would come to the funeral, and I felt as though it was something that was really important for me to do.
Are you concerned about the backlash, because there is a lot of politics involved in this?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm not concerned at all. No, my connection with Charlie was through our faith. That's something that drives me every day. That's the reason why I'm able to do what I do every day, and that's something I'm extremely thankful for. I know without my faith and without the many blessings I've been given in my life that I wouldn't be here able to talk to you guys, able to help this team eventually go and win championships. So that's something I feel really, really blessed about. So whatever backlash comes is okay. I feel strong about my faith and that what was meant to be happened.
There you go. I mean, if the wife of somebody assassinated is a friend of yours, and the person being assassinated is a friend of yours, you go to the memorial. And, some older guy on TV or radio doesn't like it, so what? Here, I like this from the U-Man 23, the massive amount of posts by Cubs fans spewing hate towards Matt Shaw for attending a memorial for his friend because they blindly believe blatant lies and have a false perception of Charlie Kirk is abhorrent. Ignorant fan base embarrassed to be a Cub fan today. Yeah, I get that too. I do. But, one thing I've learned, everybody's got an opinion, and when you talk politics, that opinion can turn nasty, and when you add politics in sports and you got a public figure like Matt Shaw, that opinion can get really nasty. So, not much ado about nothing, but, I would think that Gary Cohen would probably want those words back. Particularly when Matt Shaw expressed what he just expressed, that he and Charlie Kirk were friends, they text, knew each other from Arizona. Wife asked him to come to the memorial. Look, somebody in your family dies, somebody close to you in your life dies, their spouse asks you a favor, my immediate answer is yes. And then I figure out what the favor is, and then I figure out if I can do the favor. I don't know. Maybe Gary Cohen was brought up different. I know it's baseball, and it's important. It certainly is, and it's fun. And I personally hope the Reds get in because in these parts, it's more fun when the Cubs and the Reds are in. It gives us something to talk about, something to watch. Damn, Gary, I'm thinking you want those words back. Hey, just wanted to say how much we appreciate all of you taking the time to watch our show. And if you love the content, if you like me or hate me, and we know you do both, make sure you head on over to youtube.com/@don'tatme with Dan Dakich to like, comment, and subscribe. That way you will not miss any of our great content. I got to tell you, I have been shocked by this. Bruce Pearl announced his retirement. He was 23 years in as a head coach and one of the most successful head coaches in the history of college basketball. National champion Division II, Milwaukee, Marquette, Milwaukee, Tennessee. He had been Auburn. I mean, when he coached it was pretty good. And I know a lot of people love Bruce Pearl over the years. In fact, over the years, this is a little Trump-ish. Nobody ever called him any bad names. Like Bruce Pearl would come on with Wilbon and Kornheiser. It was great. I was on a set with Bruce when he stopped at, I think it was Tennessee, before he got the Auburn job, and he was great. I was hosting, I believe I was hosting or was there, I don't know, Mike, and he came in when he got the Auburn job in an Auburn jersey, and everybody there loved when Coach Pearl came around. Everybody in Southern Indiana loved him. Hell, they're still pissed that he had to leave Tennessee, and he's built Auburn into a national power. But the bigger point is he was beloved. And then he came on our show, and he came on X and supported his people, his motherland, fought like crazy against the anti-Semitic movement going on, fought like crazy to get hostages home, actually used his platform at the Final Four and said, look, I am doing this with the blessing of my team to hope and pray, and he named the hostages come home. And people lost their minds. I mean, lost their minds. Mike Wilbon said he was divisive. Mike Wilbon did not say that Greg Popovich or Steve Kerr was divisive. We all know why. Same thing with Trump. Trump was never a racist until he became a Republican. People view Bruce Pearl from a conservative side. So that means the other side got to hate. It's sad, really, because I'm telling you right now, one of the reasons I love having Bruce Pearl on my show is I get educated on the Bible. I get educated on the history of Israel. I get educated on Gaza. I get educated by a very smart man that wants one thing, two things, a better world, protection for his people. And he doesn't do it in a vicious, obnoxious Dan Dakich way. He does it with grace and intelligence. He does it in a Charlie Kirk way, if you must know. And boy, has that infuriated guys like Wilbon. Bomani Jones is the latest guy. All of a sudden, the spotlight shifted to, oh man, he had a cookout and got fired at Tennessee. Can you believe it? Now he's empty, racist, those kind of things. Here's Bomani Jones talking about Bruce Pearl.
I have to say this about Bruce Pearl. He is probably my least favorite college basketball coach of all time. In a world with Mike Krzyzewski in it. I don't know how many people know the story of Bruce Pearl and Deion Thomas at Illinois, but the long and the short is Bruce Pearl was an assistant at Iowa, and he was recruiting Deion Thomas. He did not get Deion Thomas. He tried to get Deion Thomas on the phone and to entrap him into saying that Illinois paid him, and then took the tape to go snitch to the NCAA, which was the reason that Pearl wound up in the hinterlands of college basketball, because nobody hates a snitch more than the people in basketball. And to the end, Bruce Pearl swore up and down that he was the guy who did the right thing, and that's why he don't feel bad. And then he ultimately lost his job at Tennessee because he got caught cheating in a much different way that was fairly benign, except he told everybody who was in on the little bit of cheating to lie to the NCAA in the course of it. I can't think of anybody emptier. He's a good basketball coach. There's no way around that part. But he just seemed like the guy that'll say whatever it is that needed to be said at a given point in time, and it all felt so phony. And then the last couple of years, he decided to show us just how real he was, and I liked that even worse.
Yeah, he did. He called, rightfully, Obama the Great Divider. 37 years ago, the entire Big Ten, hell, I got another guy on tape because he wanted me to tape him talking about what happened in Illinois with a guy named Lowell Hamilton. Everybody knew back in the day, or not, maybe not knew, certainly suspected that Lou Henson in Illinois was cheating. 37 years ago, this is what this guy's complaining about. I'm telling you, Deion Thomas is one of the great guys in college basketball. But Bruce Pearl, in a world where everybody talks about, I know this guy cheats, I know that guy cheats, got evidence. And people are mad about it. I get it. Maybe it's a black-white thing with Bomani Jones. I don't know. And I don't care. That's 37 years ago. Now, 37 years since that, Bruce Pearl, yeah, he had a barbecue. And he lied about it. Hell, I'm going to tell you a little secret. We did the same thing in Indiana because I didn't know the rule. We had 3 or 4 kids, Richard Mandeville, a couple other kids. We had them out to Knight's house. Same rule. I didn't know the rule you couldn't have a unofficial visit off campus. I should have known the rule. I learned about the rule. I lost weight worrying about getting caught because of the rule. It was before Pearl. But that's all Pearl did. I mean, and this is so egregious. I would bet money that these guys criticizing Bruce Pearl did far more egregious things than what Bruce Pearl did. Yet they sit as judge empty. No. I get that somebody that speaks so eloquently and with such passion can be viewed. But all you got to do is listen to the words. A guy is mad because we knew in the Big Ten. I was in the Big Ten at the time. Well, we thought we knew. Subsequently, we found out. My first wife's cousin was an all Big Ten football player. We used to go to family gatherings and talk about Illinois cheating. The car dealership where you got a car for $1 in Decatur, Illinois. Football, good players in football, and the basketball team. Blatant cheating. Pearl was there to expose it, and it's bad. Bomani Jones is right, though. Nobody wanted to hire Pearl after that. I had a guy come at me last night. Well, Pearl ruined the coach Jimmy Collins' life. No, he didn't. Jimmy Collins got through it, took a little sanctions, and ended up being a very successful coach at University of Illinois in Chicago, becoming an icon in Chicago and taking University of Illinois Chicago, I don't think to the Sweet 16, but I think he won a game in the NCAA tournament in 1998. We're going to judge 37 years ago? That's what we're doing? Not the hundreds, thousands of things that he has done for people, things that he has done for African-American players, things that if you read Twitter, the thank yous coming in from players, that's what we're going to go to? 1989? That's all you got? That's it? No. That's garbage. I don't know if it's racially motivated by Jones. I don't know if it's jealousy. I don't know if Pearl did something to piss Bomani Jones off relative to not coming on a podcast or whatever. But like Donald Trump, man, he was everybody's hero until he started talking like a conservative. Now he's everybody's zero. And that sucks. I don't know. I would argue Wilbon and Jones far more empty than what Bruce Pearl is if you go by what's actual and not how Bruce Pearl looks. Maybe it's anti-Semitism. I don't know. Everything is on the table with guys criticizing a Jewish coach, a Jewish player, a Jewish business owner, a Jewish broadcaster, everything in this day and age. But it is amazing. Pearl was beloved by all these guys. And then he said Obama was the great divider. And then he started talking about his people, Israel, in a manner that these guys just have no chance of understanding, period. But Jones is not the only one to lay it on. Following his retirement, pardon the interruption, within hours of Bruce's departure, host Mike Wilbon went so far as to say he actively hoped Pearl had been forced out of his job. Man, what Jones did uniquely put forward, however, was a prediction for Pearl's last steps. After the Auburn coach insisted he would not run for office, he said he's going to be on his phone a lot and a podcast is coming. I don't know. I just know that I saw Bruce on Fox about a month ago, and he was awesome. I forget what show, but he was absolutely freaking awesome. These guys are so shallow. Man, we got middle-aged white guy to attack. Let's go get him. Hey, Mike Florio's back. Yay! He sat down with friend of the show, Dan Patrick, and insinuated that the NFL has a major gambling problem in the wake of Eagles defensive linemen blocking the field goal against the Rams and scoring a touchdown. I got to tell you, man, I don't think the 300-plus lineman, Davis, was thinking much about the spread. I think he was probably concerned with winning a football game. And he had an opportunity to score a touchdown. You're pretty smart, pretty talented if you can, in the middle of all that. Now, remember, this is a lineman getting hit from every side, and you get a chance for the fat guy touchdown that we all like to see. Here is, I guess, Mike Florio.
You talk about gambling, and I'm watching the Eagles-Rams game.
I know exactly where you're going. Jordan Davis. And here's the reality. This is the direct result of the NFL going from hating and shunning anything to do with gambling to jumping right in bed and loading the pockets. They're the guy in the, the old game show where you go into the booth where the money's flying everywhere. Yeah. They're just grabbing as many dollars as they can while it's there. But yeah, we're all aware now of the point spread. We're all aware of the ramifications. And how many millions of dollars changed hands because Jordan Davis decided to do not the smart thing. The smart thing, the game's over. Just fall down. You got the win. Because in theory, somebody comes up from behind, does the Don Beebe to Leon Lett, the ball goes out, the Rams take it the other way. The smart thing to do is go down. He runs it in for a touchdown. The Eagles cover. Uh-oh. And it was perfectly legitimate, but when you open Pandora's box, this is the kind of stuff that flies out, and people are aware of this. So it's just part of the stuff the NFL needs to be concerned about, and sometimes I wonder, Dan, are they as concerned as they should be?
What changed, though, with Roger Goodell? Because everybody was against gambling, and then all of a sudden something changed.
Well, they were holding the rope as tightly as they could against gambling when different states were trying to challenge the federal law from 1992 that basically said no states other than the states that currently have it, Nevada, can have sports wagering. And that became different levels and types of legal challenges until New Jersey finally won. But back in the days when the NFL was actively fighting it, that's when the commissioner would say, for example, and I'm paraphrasing, but if legalized gambling is widespread, normal incidents of the game will be suspected to have been influenced by other things, like, whether it's a bad call or a guy not going down when basic football expectations would be you've won the game, go down. But the normal incidents of the game become fodder for the fixes in.
That's a stretch. I get it. He's saying nothing. He's saying nothing. I mean, I listened to all that, and, he says a lot, but there's nothing there. What did he say, really, about Jordan Davis? He didn't say anything. Davey, did I miss something here? It's bad for the football if a big lineman wants to score a touchdown. I get it. You can come from behind and hit him. Okay. But I don't know. I get there are certain things that you could point to and say that looks ridiculous, like a spot maybe for a first down or something like that. But I don't think a blocked field goal and a big guy scoring a touchdown falls into any type of category other than that's football, and frankly, that's fun. No? Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, Dan. What I took from Florio's comments where it was a lot of nothing, but essentially he was insinuating that it's all about the perception. And at least to him in this situation, it looked like the fix is in just because this guy scored a touchdown, which, I mean, I'm with you. It's like you're probably better off just going down simply because you won the game at that point. There's no time left on the clock. But it's like he's clearly got his guys with him. He's going for the touchdown, living in the moment. I didn't think anything of it. I was watching that live. So I think Florio's just being Florio here, trying to drum up some headlines where there's really no smoke.
Yeah, you know what? My guy, the sack man, gives us picks, and I send them to some of my friends. And, you know, one of my friends said, worst beat ever. I didn't see it. Then I saw it, and I didn't think anything of it other than, damn, I had the Rams. You know, but I don't think – look, I get there is suspicious probably activity, and I understand that. But this wasn't one. Like, if you're going to die on a hill, as the kids say, for – well, things look bad, things look nefarious. This ain't it. This is a big fat guy. We all love big fat guy touchdowns, big fat guy celebrations. I mean, that's all this was. And to equate, Davey, to equate everything, and this is the easiest thing to do, to equate everything to, well, you know what, and I do it. The NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, college basketball, college football, hated Vegas, hated gambling. Now they're in bed with it. So they're going to have to listen when we all question what the hell we just saw on the field, particularly late in the game that influenced the spread. I understand that, but not that. No. That's not that one, yeah. I don't think.
And I mean, when you look around the NFL this past weekend, Dan, it was one of those things, you know, they say when it rains, it pours. There were like 4 blocked field goals. And there were multiple ones that were returned for touchdowns. So it was just one of those weeks in the NFL where crazy stuff like that happened. And I just don't know why it's like we got to single this one out because there were a lot of others that were also happening throughout the course of the weekend.
Now, in fairness, I think he's singling it out because it changed the line.
It did.
At the time, yeah. But to your point, there's always a weekend or two, maybe more, that weird things happen. Fumble recoveries, defensive touchdowns. Hell, a friend of mine, C. Fitch, said all week, I'm taking over plus 500 that the Colts scored defensive touchdown. Hey, honest to God, Davey, I think it was the first pass.
Third play of the game, Davey.
Of the game. Yeah, third play. There you go.
I was in the press box, still getting everything set up, and the next thing I know, Cam Ward just throws it right to Kenny Moore, and I'm just like, well, shit, that's going to be the theme of this game.
Yeah.
I knew it was downhill from there.
Yeah, and, okay, but did he have an in? If you listen to Florio, did my guy have an in? Did he know? Did he, plays happen, and you happen to bet it the right way. I just think this was a very odd week for defensive touchdowns, as you said, fumble recovery, punt return. And I don't. If you're looking into that, God bless you. And I guess there's organizations that would, but I don't see anything there. Barry Alvarez, longtime football coach at Wisconsin, and Barry Alvarez, longtime athletic director at Wisconsin. Barry Alvarez, I think, has a statue, or he should anyway, at Wisconsin Stadium Camp Randall. He's pissed at the fans because the fans are pissed at his program that Luke Fickell now runs. And Barry Alvarez, I always liked him, always got along with him. He's not a quiet guy. I would argue that he's a hot-tempered Serb or Italian or Hispanic. I don't know. But my people, Serbians, hot-tempered. Italians will always talk about that kind of stuff. And Barry, hot-tempered, always ready to say something, always ready to come at you. He went at Wisconsin fans who are at their wits' end with Luke Fickell and the failing football program. He called them spoiled rotten. and that they should get their ass out of here. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. This be unraveling a little bit. Here's Alvarez freaking out a bit.
Coach, what do you make of how fans have reacted here
I think
so
it's
far?
embarrassing. I think it's terrible, despicable. They're spoiled rotten. Here's a team that you got young players trying to come on. They're competing. They're going to have a chance to get better, and you flip on them. They're early in the season, and you flip on them, and you're chanting for the coach. What do you think that makes? How do you think that makes the players feel?
Exactly.
And
that's a great point, Coach.
That's disrespectful. It's not loyal. You're not a fan. If I'm a person sitting next to me, boom, I tell them, get your ass out of here. We don't need you in here. You don't want to watch this? Go someplace else. Go boo in a bar. That really upsets me.
I get both sides. I do. I get both sides. Barry Alvarez has been the most influential figure in Wisconsin football, and he is doing right. He is protecting, trying to anyway, his quarterback, his head coach, the players, the program, the school, the athletic department. He's doing exactly what he should do. But I also get the fans saying, yo, in this day and age, that dude is being paid. That coach is making millions. Hell, at Indiana, I did not know this till yesterday. The coordinator's making $2 million. The average fan that's sitting there with some cheese curds, a brat, indigestion, and diarrhea, it doesn't really want to hear anything other than first down Badgers, touchdown Badgers, the kick is good Badgers. That's all he wants to hear. He don't want to hear you. So I do get both. And credit Barry Alvarez, he set that up. He set the expectations because of how successful he was. He's been on our show, actually. He set that. And his success, it probably still does, I guess. It makes people angry. Paul Christ was there, won at a really good level. They didn't like him because they said he didn't have any personality. So they went and got the hot guy. I don't know if you guys remember, but Luke Fickell, he took Cincinnati to the college football playoffs. And now it ain't working. I don't know. Davey, you tell me. I get both sides of this. I do. Weirdly enough, I get both sides. I don't know.
I am a fan of a program that went through what we call the decade of dysfunction. And when you're a fan, if you know it is better off for your program for the coach to be fired, if the coach stays, it's only going to get worse. I have no problem with the fans letting their frustration be heard. They're the ones that fund the salary. They're the ones in the stands. They can say whatever they want. Listen, when I say that, I don't say go and say terrible things, make threats, anything along those lines. But as far as letting your displeasure know that you are not happy with the play on the field, whenever it's something you look forward to every Saturday, I have zero problems with it whatsoever. Barry Alvarez, very old school. So I get his approach, but I can't agree with him one bit on that.
Yeah, I get it. I really get it. And the idea that they're all being paid is that's out the door. These are kids. Look, it should be out the door. These are businessmen that have agents. They're people. My guy. Here's Fickell talking about the fire Fickell chance at Wisconsin amidst, they got their ass beat 27-10 against Maryland.
As you can imagine at this point, a lot of frustration from the fans, maybe some cheers for the chance of the game. What's your message to the fans?
I feel what they, I feel what their pain is, but there's nothing that we can do other than keep grinding and keep working. We have to play better. So, I don't get upset. I don't, lose my mind because of what the way they feel. They're passionate about what they do and what they want to see, and that's what you love about this place. And that's what that's what you signed up for when you came here. What this place is passionate about. They've got a history, and they expect more, just like I did.
Yeah, fair enough. Fans, though, well, including Melvin Gordon, star running back, at a school that has really good running backs. Gordon was terrific. I don't even know what to say at this point. I feel for my brothers over there. Shake my head. This is not Wisconsin football. Matt Grosenbach says it's actually impressive how quickly Finkel completely destroyed Wisconsin football. Never the greatest program in the world, but a very proud program with a strong identity. No more. Here is the photo tear of the Badgers under Fickle, 15-15, 8-11 in the Big Ten, haven't beaten a ranked opponent. And 2024 was the first losing season since 2001. Eek. You know, I could have said start of the century, but, I didn't. Hey, I'll give you a fun fact. You want a fun fact? Here's a fun fact for you. Say that 3 times. Listen to this. The Colts kicker, Spencer Schrader, his right leg has scored more points than C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans this year. That's right. 43, I had to look it up, I had to scroll. 43 points for Schrader, 38 points for the Houston freaking Texans. How about that? Colts are rolling. Colts are big rolling. We're going to talk to my boys coming up here. Hammer is going to join us. Danny Z is going to join us. ZINNO is going to join us, though, I believe, next. I got to get into some stuff with ZINNO, including the bet that I gave you. I gave you $50 to win $32,000. Ready? Fernando Mendoza, who is the betting favorite, at least on DraftKings, to win the Heisman Trophy, parlayed with Daniel Jones to win the regular season MVP. Now, I know what you're saying. I do. I know what you're saying. Well, the season MVP is going to go to Josh Allen. Maybe he's the betting favorite. But when I looked at this, there's 11 people. I think Jones is 11th. There's no way Derrick Henry's going to win the MVP. There's no way Brock Purdy's going to win the MVP. I think Penix was ahead of Daniel Jones as the MVP. Get out of here. There was like 6 guys. I'll give you another one. So the favorite to win the Offensive Player of the Year in the NFL at plus 350 right now, depending on your betting site, is Jonathan Taylor, Colts running back. Jonathan Taylor is plus 30,000 to be the league's MVP. 30,000. Now let me say that again. You bet $50, you get 15 grand on that one. Is it going to happen? I don't know, but they got a bunch of people again in front of Taylor that are not Taylor's leading the league in rushing right now, and this isn't going to stop unless he gets hurt. I don't know, man. Those are pretty sweet. We got Mark ZINNO next. I guarantee you he's not a believer in Danny Dimes. None of you are. None of yous are. And to quote Jeff from Curb Your Enthusiasm, you can't get me to say anything bad about the Colts. Nope, Larry. You can't get me to say anything bad about the Colts. We'll be right back. ZINNO betting next. You know him, you love him, the great Mark ZINNO, at Mark ZINNO, nice enough to join us. I got a bet for you. He's a radio host. He's a betting analyst. He's a warrior, Army guy. He's probably going to agree with this because he's smart. Here's my bet. I'm making a parlay. $50 to win $32,000. $100 to win $64,000.
Okay.
Now listen to this. The betting favorite for the Heisman Trophy is Fernando Mendoza at Indiana. So I'm putting him. They got a really good team, and he's been terrific. I'm combining that with what I think is the leader right now, other than Josh Allen, second, Daniel Jones. And I'm getting $50 to win $32,400 and some. It's my Indiana parlay special, baby. What do you think? Wasting money here?
I think that $50 could buy you a variety of different things, including some things we probably shouldn't mention, maybe some marijuana, maybe some alcohol. It could buy you a good Friday night for a very cheap price. But nonetheless, I appreciate the home angle. I think that both I think Indiana's quarterback is more likely to win the Heisman than Daniel Jones is to win the MVP. So
I think so. Yeah, the numbers say that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would go in that direction.
Here's the other one. The betting favorite for Offensive Player of the Year in the NFL is Jonathan Taylor.
Yes.
Jonathan Taylor is plus 30,000 to win the MVP. Now, I know this as fact. I have a guy with the Colts that is never wrong. He's inside. They're going to use Jonathan Taylor all year. They're throwing it to him. He's become a 4-down back because he's worked on blocking, catching. I don't know, man. You give me plus 30,000, and then I looked at the guys in front of him, and same thing with Daniel Jones. I looked at the guys in front of him. I ain't mad at that bet either, 50 to win 15K. I ain't mad at it.
No, I mean, when it comes to running backs winning the MVP, the problem is that you need a whole bunch of quarterbacks to have really below average standard quarterback years. And I told everybody before the season started, I thought Josh Allen was winning the MVP again, back-to-back MVPs. You know how much money got burned up in flames the minute Joe Burrow got hurt? He was the most bet-on individual to win the MVP this year. Ooh. And all those tickets are basically toilet paper at this point in time. So I find it very hard to believe that short of a 2,000-yard season, and remember, we had that last year. The last 2,000-yard rushers did not win the MVP, and Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. So why? And the answer to that question, if you ask why, is because the voters suck. They're all shills. They have no idea how to understand the idea of valuable. They look at it and go,
well, we'll just give the most offensive player of the year to the other guy.
Like it's the lamest excuse on how to vote, period. And voter fatigue should never, ever, ever be a thing. If the guy is the best, he wins the MVP every year. End of conversation.
You're preaching to the choir. And again, not necessarily about Taylor, but about what you're saying. Yes. You are absolutely 1,000% preaching to the choir. All right, what are you seeing? I gave you ways to make a lot of money. What are you seeing, big boy?
Let's go tonight to Thursday Night Football here. Take Seattle on the money line. They're a better team than Arizona. This is a defense in Seattle that is going to end up being a top 5 defensive unit when it's all said and done at the end of the year. They are really, really good, and they are great against the pass. And you're asking a Arizona team that just lost James Conner for the year to do it with a backup, and that's not a shot against Trey Benson, the Cardinals' backup, but you're asking a lot of one guy to be able to do that. I don't think it happens tonight. Seattle on the money line is a way to go. I would look at Jackson Smith-Njigba, the wide receiver, over 6.5 receptions. Through the first 3 games, he's gotten 29 targets. He got 10 targets in each of the first 2 games, at least 10 targets in each of the first 2 games. Probably would have had that same number last week, but the game got so out of hand so quick, Dan, that they didn't have to throw anymore. They were up 35-3 by halftime. So they coasted all the way through it. And so I think you look at that. And I would also look at Cooper Kupp over 42.5 yards. He's only gone over this number once in the 3 weeks this year, but I figure that he is going to start to be a better part of the offense. And since the game won't be out of hand this week, that with the Cardinals defense going, well, we're not going to let JSN beat us down the field or anything else. Kupp should be open underneath. 40 yards is not a lot to get for a wide receiver. We're really in a very comfortable number here at a good price. So those are the ways I would look for tonight's game.
Wow. All right. You're big on Seattle. A lot of people are. Got to ask you before we move it along to the weekend, both college and professional, what do you think of the Colts to this point?
I mean, look, as a Giants fan, I saw this script work well for Daniel Jones in his second year. Saquon Barkley was there. There was an offensive line. There was something resembling a pretty good defense. And you didn't ask Daniel Jones to do too much. You asked him to hand the ball off this way, hand the ball off that way. And guess what? The rest of the offense will unfold in front of you. And that's kind of what's happening here. Look, Daniel Jones is never – I don't think he was a bad quarterback, but there is a big thing to fit. You know this, Dan, when it comes to athletes. Some athletes just aren't a good fit in certain environments and certain teams and certain systems with certain coaches. Daniel Jones is not a fit for New York. He's a quiet, unassuming young man, okay, who didn't like dealing with the bright lights and the big city and the questions and the media and everything else of New York City. I get it. It's not for everybody. Some guys thrive there. Some guys don't. I mean, do we think Brett Favre would have had the same career with the New York Giants as he did with the Green Bay Packers? Maybe. But I don't know that it would have been as smooth sailing as it was. So I look at this whole thing, and I think Daniel Jones is a great fit in Indianapolis. I think this team wins the division. I don't know how far they can go in the playoffs. I think to a certain extent, Daniel Jones can turn into a pumpkin at any point in time. We're really going to find that out this week. And you want to know why? Because here's what I did last year, Dan. Remember when Sam Darnold had the first great start to the beginning of the year? I'm like, this is BS. Yeah. No way this guy is this good. I've seen enough of this to know he's going to turn into a pumpkin. So like weeks 3, 4, 5, 7, I bet against him every single time and lost. I'm not going to make that same mistake again. I'm betting on Daniel Jones this week. I'm betting on the Colts plus the 3.5 and put a sprinkle on the money line. So this way I can find out if Daniel Jones is a pumpkin. Because if he stinks, it'll be because I bet on him.
That's right. See, people like you and me understand that we have influence. I don't give a damn if I'm in Indy and the game is played out there. I got influence. I'm with you. I am 87%. When an underdog covers, they win the game as well. So it's always wise to sprinkle on the money line. All right. What are you seeing this weekend? Word on the street is you got a DeGen special late night.
Oh, I mean, I'll start with that. Late night DeGen special here on Saturday night in a game that no one's really looking at on their radar, but it takes a special talent to figure out this one. Louisiana Tech against UTEP. Let's take the Miners. Plus 4.5 with a sprinkle on the money line. This is the first game outside the state of Louisiana for the Bulldogs. They played Southeast Louisiana. They traveled to LSU, which is a hop, skip, and a jump up the road. They played at home against New Mexico and at home against Southern Miss. They've coasted through all those with the exception of LSU. This is a UTEP team that has lost 2 in a row, including 1 to Texas, and a tough game against Louisiana Monroe last week. Set up spot perfectly here for the Miners, who a team I think can go over their season win total this year of 5.5 and get to a bowl game. Tink, tink, as they say out in El Paso. Miners plus the 4.5 and a sprinkle on the money line to win it outright.
Well, I'm doing that. What else you got? I know you only have a couple minutes. What else you got?
Best bet of the week I'll give you in college football. And look, college football is a lot about situations, right? College sports are a lot about situations. Give me Boston College this week at home against Cal and lay the 6.5. This is my best bet of the week. Cal has been feeling themselves a little too much, and everybody has been very, very impressed with the young quarterback that they have. And then they went out last week and dropped a game at San Diego State and got shut out. Not ideal for the situation. But Boston College, by the way, 2 gut punch road losses in a row at Mississippi State and a game against Stanford that they absolutely should have won. Probably not covered, but should have won. So they have 2 bad losses in a row. They're off a bye. They get Cal traveling cross country, who's only done this once in their school history, and that was back in 1986 before any of these kids were even born. California, going all the way to BC. Lay it with Boston College minus 6.5 this weekend.
I'm already on that. I was not on that, and you just put me on it, so I went and got on it because I love that. You know what? I do. That's terrific. What else you got? You got anything else before you got to go?
I mean, look, I'll go to the 2 big games because it's the one everyone's going to be talking about: Oregon, Penn State, Alabama, Georgia. I would tell you, look, Bama's the side for me. I'm not playing Georgia. I think Bama's the better team here. They've had a good track record against Georgia, despite the fact this game's going to be at night at Sanford Stadium. This is not the Georgia team that we've seen from years past. And unfortunately, I'll take the 3.5 with Oregon until I see James Franklin do it. I've run into this buzzsaw enough where I believe this is the time it's going to happen. This is the time it's going to happen. And it doesn't happen. I think Oregon has flaws. I don't know if they're as good as it looks to this point. And it's a tough spot for me to back Franklin here, but I'll take the 3.5 in a world where Penn State could still win this thing by a field goal, and I still keep the money in my pocket. So let's go Bama and Oregon this weekend.
Last thing, you got anything NFL-wise other than tonight? What do you got? Anything?
I'm absolutely playing the Colts this weekend. I'm somebody who
the
does
Colts. That's right. That's right.
All that good.
Yeah.
Give me Tampa Bay plus the 3.5. And honestly, I got to take the points with the Chiefs at home. As much as the Ravens are, I think the better team. I can't not take the points with the Chiefs at home. They'll figure this out.
I'm with you. I swear to God, Urban Meyer, Nick Saban, and the Chiefs, whenever they're getting points, I take them. I know it's an iffy one. I know you got to run. I really appreciate you being here. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Give him a great follow at Mark ZINNO, ZINNO. I'm all in on his Cal bet. I am. I'm all in. Look, this is the time of year teams get serious. This is week 4 or 5. I mean, this is week 5, actually. This is the time of year where, what do they say? The cream rises to the top. But more importantly, starting to get into depth now. Starting to do that. Think about this. Think about now you've played 4 straight weeks. Man. And you got a tough opponent, and you got to go cross country, and you're at Cal where you may actually have to go to school. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I love that bet. I am going to try to watch USC Illinois. Illinois got it. Don't they have to be better than what they showed? Like, don't they have to be? Like, if you have pride, and I think Brett Bielema is a terrific coach, but if you have pride, you're playing your off. It's a weird start. It's 11 o'clock Central start. Central time zone is where Champaign is. You know what's not on Central time? USC. 9 a.m. body time, meaning 11 o'clock Central, 9 a.m. That's Western. I'm taking Illinois. I'm going to take them on the money line. I don't know. They're getting 1.5. We'll come back. It is one of my favorite. Well, it's my favorite. I love doing this if I can get this off. It's shot clock violation, but you know what, Gritty and Robert and all my friends out there, it's 10 o'clock. You know what that means. Football's fine. I feel like I'm always a day ahead, and this is – well, it's apropos. Usually we do this on Friday, but it's Thursday, which is weird to me because I swear to God, all week I have been one day ahead. Hammer time. Jason Allen Hammer joins me, radio talk show host extraordinaire. I listen every afternoon on my way home after my show. 3 to 7 is when Hammer is, Hammer and Nigel. And, of course, the greatest writer in the history of the world, Danny Z from outkick.com. We're going to have a discussion. It's shot clock violation. 30 seconds on the clock. We get a topic. They debate. Then they re-debate. Then usually Hammer says something gross and Danny Z rips on baseball. That's what I've seen here of late. But before we get started, Hammer is from Indy. I am quoting Jeff from Curb Your Enthusiasm. You can't get me to say anything bad about the Colts. You cannot get me to say anything bad about the Colts, Hammer. It's the best team in football. Daniel Jones is winning the MVP. I parlayed him with Fernando Mendoza, Heisman Trophy. It's going to pay me $32,000 on a $50 bet, and I'm taking you and Nigel and Rob to Sizzler. There you go.
Dude, I'm in. I am in because I do love me some Sizzler. And what I love about Danny Dimes, man of the people, went out having beers after the Denver game a couple weeks ago. Buddy of mine was out there just slamming some beverages back. Here comes Danny Dimes walking in, chugging beers, hanging out. One of us. One of us.
Don't you both have local Indianapolis radio shows you could talk about this on? Like, I feel like there's a spot for both of you to do this, and it's not this national platform where you have me here to talk about the big stories that affect all of America.
Can you not put the L in the word both? Is that a Pennsylvania thing? Is that a Penn State? The word is both, not both. There's no L in both.
It's actually not even just a Pennsylvania thing. It's a Western Pennsylvania thing because my Philly friends in college used to make fun of me for it too.
You know, I ate a bad sausage yesterday and my stomach is grumbling and I'm not really up for disciplining you two today. So can we just move it along? I'm on 4 dumps already today, none of which have been a game changer. So, you know, Can we move it along? Here we go. Danny, you're first. Is Jackson Dart the quarterback who can save Brian Daboll's job in New York, or is this a temporary lifeline that masks bigger giant issues, Danny Z?
Well, the answer is both. Both.
I knew that.
It's both. He could save Brian Daboll's job. In fact, it's the perfect quarterback. I understand why the Giants went with him. He's got kind of Josh Allen vibe, the bigger guy, big arm, athletic. He can run the offense that he's more comfortable running, Daboll that is. But at the same time, the likelihood is the Giants stink, and they're probably going to be bad for the rest of the year, and it probably is just a temporary fix. At the same time, I don't think the Giants had any other choice in the matter, so I'm glad Dart's starting because I was just sick and tired of watching Russell Wilson limp his way around the field every Sunday.
What you got, Hammer?
There may not be an L in both, but there's a lot of L's on that Giants team. They're in a tough division. They're going to lose a lot of games. Daboll's not going to survive the year, but it's also the right decision. You're right. Russell Wilson's done. Just donezo. So let's see what the young kids got. What do you have to lose at this point? I'm going to channel my inner Hillary Clinton here. What else do you have to do? What choice do you have? He's the right pick. He's got a smoking hot mom that's also going to steal the spotlight away from a lot of people. So go for it. Tough division. You stink. Let the young kids sling it around the yard.
Channeling your inner Hillary Clinton has to be an automatic point for me, right? Like, can we at least agree on that?
It is.
Well, misdirection right there.
By the way,
you think I'm going right? Boom, Hillary Clinton reference.
Yeah, we're not suicidal, by the way. We want it to be known. I got to tell you, whatever happened to Jameis Winston? He was the first pick in the draft, 50 touchdowns. I get it. You don't like Russell Wilson. I hated him at the end of the half when I had taken them plus even money, actually, to win the first half, and he throws it short right corner of the end zone. But whatever happened to Jameis Winston? Danny
Jameis
Z?
Winston is the human parlay. Jameis Winston is the human parlay. And what I mean by that is when your gambling buddies win a parlay, they talk about, oh, I hit this 8-legger, this 5-legger, I won all this money. They don't talk about all the ones that they lost. Like, we see the cool highlight of Jameis Winston and the wacky press conferences and the statements. You don't see the game where he's got 3 picks, gets sacked 5 times, and they lose 35-6. Nobody wants to talk about those. So, again, it's the same dude, right? Don't put your hard-earned money on Jameis Winston. You know what you're going to get. We don't know what we're going to get with the young fella. Let's see. I want to see him throw it around.
Well, Dan, to your point, I think if the plan was to start a veteran and then have Dart take over, the correct answer was start Jameis Winston at least over Russell Wilson. I mean, I'm fine going to Dart now because I agree with Hammer. Let's see what the kid has. But if you were going to start a veteran in the first place, it probably should have been Winston.
I'll agree to that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay. I mean, I get it, but man, that dude is falling out of favor in the entire league. Other than everybody likes him, they don't like him to play quarterback. It's like my friend who is really smart. I said, Mike, you're going to be a doctor, but you ain't going to be my doctor. So there you go. All right. Is Dabo Swinney still the right coach to lead Clemson into the next era, this era of college football, NIL, transfer portal, or is it time for the Tigers to let him go? Hammer.
Man, usually I take the opposite side of this because I'm a be careful what you wish for kind of guy. But it seems like Dabo has never really embraced the transfer portal. I don't know what their NIL situation is. And is he really that great of a coach? Or did he have Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence, generational college quarterbacks here? Man, it feels like Clemson's going to have to go in another direction, especially if the wheels fall off even more. When you start getting down 2 scores at home to Syracuse, the alumni are going to want to start writing checks to find somebody else.
Danny Z.
Here's what I don't understand. I was born a lot after you guys, like many, many years after you guys. So in my lifetime, Clemson wasn't a thing. Like Clemson football, who the hell is Clemson football? So I had to go back and look it up. You know how many ACC titles Clemson won in the 28 years before Dabo Swinney got there? Zero, not one. Like, sure, you guys remember them winning a national championship in 1981, 8 years before I even walked this earth. That's fine. But Clemson, I think our expectations for Clemson are way, way too high. And the reason is Dabo Swinney. They should ride this train as long as they possibly can.
Look, I'm for both of you. Like, I understand the history. In fact, that night, I think it was New Year's Eve, was the first time I ever had sex. True story. When Danny Ford won a national championship. A little bit of information right there. I remember.
Although you said it was with Danny Ford.
Well, it could have been. I was drunk. No, I wasn't, actually. I never drank then. Yeah, different time, different people, different motivations. But I'm kind of with both of you because I am a big don't F with winning. Be careful what you wish for. But I do think, let me put it to you this way. I turned the game on, the Syracuse game, thinking I was going to live bet Clemson. I don't know about you, Hammer or Danny, but I watched about, 4 or 5 plays, and I thought, nuh-uh, this team is better than that team, and this team was not Clemson. So I don't know, man. That's a tough question. That's going to be a tough call.
I will tell you this. I'm
right,
glad you brought that up because one of my best bets of the entire weekend was when Syracuse was up 10, they were still plus 150. And I was like, I'm watching this game. I got a 10-point lead with that team, and I'm getting plus money. I am hammering plus 150 Syracuse money line. I did, and it was a rocking chair cover.
And do you think Clemson's a program now that it's been established, though, that if you do run out Dabo, it's not like you're bringing in some really good coach from the MAC getting his first crack at it. You're probably bringing in somebody that's established at this point because Clemson is one of the brands of college football, despite the fact they've been down a little bit the last couple of years. So, yeah, hat tip to Dabo for putting them on the map, but man, I don't know, man.
Are they a destination, though? With the realignment in college football, I feel like you got to be in the Big Ten or the SEC. Like, I'm not sure being in the ACC is a big draw for anyone. I don't know that Clemson is a destination job and that they're getting a great coach.
I mean, somebody went to Indiana for big money and turned it into something, right? You can turn Clemson into something. You're still playing Miami. You're playing Florida State. I mean, it's not like you're relegated out west to what used to be the Pac-12.
I don't know that they have the money.
I'll tell you what, the college landscape is different. This is fact, at least as much as I can make it fact from a guy that knows. Cignetti last year turned down Florida from Indiana. Now, that's SEC school, but I'm with you. I don't know, man. I don't know if Clemson's going to – who are they going to hire? You know, like, where are they getting players? Sweeney's done an amazing job, particularly when he gave his resume. But when you start giving your resume and you start saying, hey, they can fire me, that is stupid. Seth Greenberg and I did a 2-hour fill one afternoon on a Saturday when a game got canceled. And one of the things we talked about was Bo Pelini when he was at Nebraska. Don't dare your administration to fire you. Ever. Never. All right, Ryder Cup starts. Oh, man. The pairings are today. First tee is tomorrow, so we all must learn about American soil. That's always said. Does the home course advantage and the raucous crowd, does it guarantee as much as a guarantee can be made of a U.S. win, or will Europeans' chemistry and recent domination spoil the American party? Danny.
Okay, there's a lot there. Does it guarantee anything? Of course it doesn't guarantee anything.
No,
it's a sporting event.
That's
Who
why I
knows
put
who's
that
going to
in.
win?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, of course it doesn't guarantee anything. But yeah, I think home course does matter here. And I think it's less to do with the crowd and all that. I think it's to do with the way the Americans have set it up. They've already talked about how Bethpage is not going to play like it plays at a U.S. Open. They've got the rough a little shorter. And the reason for that is because they want to let guys like Bryson DeChambeau bomb the ball and not be penalized for it. Now, of course, Europe has Rory McIlroy, so that's going to help him a little bit. But I think it benefits the Americans. I think they were very smart about how they set this course up so that it benefited them more than it benefited the opposing side. Americans have the best player in the world, Scotty Scheffler. I like the Americans to win this. I think it's going to be pretty close, though. I think we're in for a really, really great Ryder Cup.
I do too. Hammer time. What say you?
Euros are at plus money right now. Does it make me a bad American?
Yes,
that I'm taking
yes,
a
it
look
does.
at the
Yes,
Euros
yes,
at
yes,
plus
yes,
money?
it does. Yes, it does.
I'm the kind of dude that'll bet against my mother if I can put some zeros in my bank account, and I kind of feel like there might be some action on the Euros here. Listen, the crowd's not going to be a factor. Like, they're going to be loud and rowdy, but you know what? So is the Waste Management Open. So who cares? They can yell, they can boo. Trump may show up. We're hearing that kind of chatter. I'm just looking forward to, if the Americans do melt down, the Trump posts on Truth Social just ripping the American team, because you know that's coming as well.
I know this is like the obvious broadcaster type thing, but I really honestly believe that the first session is really important for the Americans. I think if the Euros even split the first session, I think that's going to be a big problem. The Americans need to come out and they need to establish themselves extremely early. I think the Euros would take a win by splitting that first session. Again, talk about the crowd. The crowd could matter, but you got to get them into it. You got to get them into it early.
All right, let me throw this out to you. Let's play Am I a Bad American? I went up to see my mother the other day, Valparaiso from Indy, from where I live, about 2.5 hours, and I listened to Ryder Cup TV, or radio on Sirius XM radio. And the guys that do it, the Paulson brothers, they're awesome. They're like regular dudes, but they kept playing clips from the American players and the European players, and I got to tell both of you, I had enough of these rich little pain-in-the-ass American players. The European players are much cooler, much more down-to-earth. I grew up not rich enough, had to caddy at the Gary Country Club. I hated rich white dudes my whole life. Hated them with a burning hot passion. Mr. Underwood, I lugged his bag around. He gave me $10. So I'm tired. I'm not where Hammer is. But does it make me a bad American that the more I listened, the more I disliked the Colin Morikawa?
Wait.
Shut up.
Oh, wait. Point of contention, though. Are you saying the European team isn't filled with rich white guys? Because I'm pretty sure the European team is filled with rich white guys.
They are, but they don't come off as that. They come off as cool. Even the announcers, the Americans were like, well, you know, we did party with them after they lost, and they're so much more fun. They're a great time. Okay, you're right, I'm wrong, but I think you get my point. I just got tired of little Colin Morikawa or Xander Schauffele. Shut up. I like Scheffler, though. Am I wrong, Hammer? Am I a bad American?
Doesn't make you a bad American. It makes you a liberal Democrat, hating that awful, successful, rich white man. How dare you?
And only the American one, too. Notice, he didn't have a problem with the rich Europeans. He only has a problem with the rich Americans. That is as Democrat as it gets.
Right. There's suburban wine moms here in Westfield, Indiana, that are just going, preach, Dan, preach.
While their rich white husbands off at work.
I'm all about Somalia. I'm Ilion or whatever the hell her name is. I'm all about people in Somalia.
Can I make an entry into the Am I a Bad American? Because I've got one that still comes up to this day, and it's been years since this happened. But I made the argument in a column on Outkick, and also in an editorial call that still gets brought up when I said that I was rooting for the U.S. women to lose the World Cup. And they happened to be playing Vietnam in the first game. Now, I wasn't specifically saying I wanted them to lose to Vietnam, but I wasn't going to be upset, and it still gets brought up to this day that I root for Vietnam over the United States. So that's my Am I a Bad American? You guys, bad American?
A little. I mean, a little. I've seen worse Americans. Maybe just a little. Diet American.
Was Rapinoe on the team?
Yes, it was that team. Yes, absolutely.
You're not a bad American. You're not a bad. You could run the flag out in the Olympics. You're so American. I'll give you one. All right. So a guy that Hammer, Kent Sterling, came on my radio show in Indy. He does an hour with me on Mondays, and big Indiana fan. Okay, he said this. If I'm Kurt Signetti, I and my team are not waving to those kids at Iowa. We're not doing it. We're not giving in any way, shape, or form to the opponent. We'll go after and bring him gear. We'll go have a party. We'll go hang out. We'll delay the flight. And I made sure I said, Indy Star, this is not me. I did not say this. Does that make him, I said it does. Does that make him a bad human being, Danny?
If he said they would go after the game and bring the kids gear, no. I think that's a fair compromise, that in the middle of the heat of battle, I mean, when you started telling the story, if you saw, I did cringe a little bit. Like, I mean, we are talking about cancer kids here. I mean, there's a fine line, but at the same time, I mean, it's Iowa's tradition. I mean, they're the ones trying to curry favor and make us all feel bad for them. As long as they actually hold true and they go to the hospital and they talk to the kids, I'm okay with it.
All right. What do you think, Hammer?
But I would respect the hell out of the kids if they walked in and they were like, "Get out of here. We don't want you here. We don't want you here. Get out of our hospital." Not
Wouldn't that be a power move if the cancer kids gave him the finger and said, "Get the hell out of here"?
It would.
Take your hillbilly red ass coach with you. Get the hell out of here. We're going to be fine without you. And when we get healthy, we're going to play football for Iowa and stick it right up your ass. Like, that would be the greatest thing in the history of the world. One more thing here, and I know we've probably got to move on, but can I enter into the "Am I a Bad American" conversation here?
Yeah.
On vacation at a resort in Orlando, our resort had a ping pong tournament. So I entered and I get to the finals and I'm playing against a dude from England. Well, the dude from England decides, oh, this is fun. I'm going to let my daughter play. And she's a little girl. She's probably like 6 years old. So I beat the brakes off of her because I feel like I'm playing for my country at this point. Like, if I let the little wanker beat me, then my founding father is going to roll over in their grave. So I won a medal. You know, I kind of gave her a little high five, but I kept that medal and it's still at home.
Okay. You introduced that as "Am I a Bad American?" But I think you just wanted to brag about winning a ping pong tournament, because I don't see anywhere where that would have even. They were from England and you beat them, and you're like, "Am I a bad American?"
He was an 8-year-old girl, and I beat the brakes
bragging about
off
winning a ping pong tournament while on vacation, probably 8 beers deep, beating a freaking 8-year-old girl.
Right. She was 8 years old. So that's why, am I bad for dusting an 8-year-old? I feel like I'm a good American, but my wife gave me shit.
I
mean, you're a bad person, but it doesn't make you a bad American.
I think you're just a misogynist, xenophobe, whatever other words I can throw in for dusting in your words, dusting an 8-year-old girl in a ping pong final. Hey, but wait a second. It was the finals, damn it. Yeah.
Right. You play to win the game. And again, I felt like the blood of Thomas Jefferson was flowing through my veins when I was just point game and just drilling it.
And at that point, you just simply identified as an 8-year-old girl, which is perfectly within reason. I'm all good. Like I think we're good.
Yeah,
right.
I do too. You get our blessing. All right, let's go to the tush push. Critics, are they right about the Eagles? The tush push, basically legalizing false starts, or is it just whining because no one's been able to play or been able to stop the play? This time next year, is the play legal? Thoughts on the tush push? I think it's Hammer.
Like, will it be legal? I have no idea. I'm not on the rules committee. I'm not in the meetings. I have no idea. They tried to vote it out this year, but they didn't have the juice to do it. But I do think they will officiate it a little closer. I mean, I think a couple things can be true here. People can bitch and moan that they can't stop it, but the Eagles do line up a little bit offside on that. Like, there are some false starts going on with that. But, yeah, until somebody's got a big enough, bad enough dude to stop it, then, quite frankly, I don't care. If I'm the Eagles, I keep doing it.
Danny Z?
Will the play be legal next year? No. The league really, and a lot of the owners kind of wanted to get rid of it already. I think now they have their out, which is that the refs are saying, like, look, we can't officiate this. Because how could you? You can't see what's going on. And by the way, you said the Eagles line up offsides. Look at the defense. Like, half the defensive helmets are over the ball. Like, the whole play doesn't look like football. Look, I've never been an anti-tush push guy because I'm like, hey, that's innovation, man. You came up with a play that no one else came up with. You run it better than anyone else. People have tried to replicate it. They can't. I think it's all great. I personally don't have a problem with it. I understand understand where the refs are coming from. If you look at it, like, how are you supposed to call a false start when you literally cannot see any of the people? You'd have to have a drone above the football looking at it. That's the only view, by the way, where you can see the false starts. Watch the replays. The one they show and they go, look, they're false starting. It's the drone overhead. Referees can't see it down the line. I think the league finally has its reason to get rid of it, which is they're going to say, look, we can't properly officiate this play because we can't see it, so we have to get rid of it, and that's going to be the end of it.
I think the tush push is gone this time next year simply because of what you said. If we can't officiate a play that is literally dangerous, I mean, by definition, what they're doing, goes against the protecting people, that kind of stuff. You're right. They need a reason, and I do think what you said gives them a reason. If you cannot officiate a play, I don't know how you have it in. And as you said, Hammer, they already tried. They started, couldn't get it done. I think they will next year. All right, Danny Z, we got to have a little bit of baseball in here, but we're combining baseball and politics. Did Matt Shaw cross the line by leaving the Cubs during a pennant chase to attend Charlie Kirk's memorial, or is Gary Cohen's, my opinion, ridiculous tone-deaf criticism out of line? Where are you at, Danny Z, with Matt Shaw, the Cubs third baseman, rookie third baseman, leaving to go to Kirk's?
Well, first of all, Gary Cohen missed a game this year to attend his dog's funeral. So I really think he needs to probably think about the optics of that. I mean, Matt Shaw went to the funeral of a human being who was assassinated on a national stage. It was wall-to-wall news coverage, and all of America's talking about it. Gary Cohen was like, yeah, my dog died. Can't make it to work today. No, I'm not saying that's not sad, but messenger message. Of course, there's no problem with him. And also, I'm getting tired of them calling it a pennant chase. The Cubs are clinched in the playoffs. Right. They can't win the NL Central. What were they actually playing for this week? Not a lot. In fact, I'm just pissed at the Cubs for blowing that game to the Mets because the Reds should still be in postseason position, but the freaking Cubs blew a 5-1 lead on Monday. Six. You're right. It did. Yeah. And then they actually start. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it. I'm mad at the Cubs for losing that game, but I'm also mad at the Reds because season on the line and you're 0-2 against the freaking Pirates.
Yeah,
it's a disgrace, man.
Worry about your own damn team. Beat Paul Skeens and his hot girlfriend. Hammer, a line crossed here, or where are you?
No. His teammates were fine with it. Counsel was fine with it. Matt Shaw had somewhat of a relationship with Charlie Kirk. Charlie was a Cubs fan. Charlie's widow had texted Matt and asked him, would you like to come to this event? So I'm sorry, if the widow texts you and says, would you like to come? I take that as we would like for you to be here. And it's none of Gary Cohen's business about what he does. And you're right. The Cubs are playing for what? Home field in the wild card. The magic number for that's still down to 2. They're going to be fine. They're already in the playoffs. The widow invited him. Gary Cohen can go to hell.
Let's also remember, I'm not to be a jerk about this, but Matt Shaw's hitting 220 and he bats 9th in the lineup. It's not like we're talking about the 3-hitter missing a key game here. I mean, you could probably find someone to play third base and bat 9th for one game.
Had a good game last night, though. Went deep last night.
Because he went to Kirk's funeral. So you could make the other argument, too, that he was, he's got Jesus totally on his side now, and he lifted the Cubs into a key win that might help the Reds make the playoffs, because that's what's really important here, guys. Let's keep in mind.
If Jesus was involved, I bet Gary Cohen was pissed.
I always, if the widow, the kids, the mom invites you, you go. When somebody that is close enough to you to invite you to a service, a ceremony, you go. They're grieving. And I used to tell Coach Knight this. I said this earlier on the show. I don't go to weddings. I don't go to funerals. I bet you do, Dakich. I go, Coach, I don't like weddings, but I go. And funerals aren't for the, the guy's dead. What am I going to say? I go, it's not for the dead guy. It's for the family. It's to help. It's to support. It's to be there for something. I don't care. I'm like, all right, hey, you do you, brother. But if the freaking widow asks, and you're close enough that, according to Matt Shaw, they text after every game, you go.
Can I bring up something else real quick?
Yeah, please.
I'm sorry. I want to change the subject just slightly. I'm going to tell you guys something that makes me a bad person, and it's going to anger people. But I don't like when, and it has to be NFL because they only play once a week and every game really kind of does matter, like baseball players, whatever. I don't like when NFL players miss a game for the birth of their second, third, or fourth child. First child, fine. Anyone after number one, get your ass on that field. You got to provide for your family. Now your family's growing. Like first child, totally get it. Anything after first, get your ass on the field. Yeah, I said it.
Counter perspective, that team will cut your ass in a heartbeat and not think twice. They will cut you in front of your wife and children, and they will take your playbook on national television. Screw them. Get your money. Go take care of your family. Family first.
I caught a lot of hell about this, and I've said very publicly when I was coaching and going to have kids, I was going to have kids in either the month of May, the first week of June, or the month of August, because that is when we were free. I needed camp money in June. April, we were recruiting. May, we were off. July was a full recruiting month. August, we were off the road, could be home. And September started the season. People crushed me, killed me. My issue isn't about being a ball player and having to go or not go to the birth of your child. My issue is, and this got me absolutely killed, why the hell are you not planning and having kids in the damn off season? There's nothing going on in November, December, January, February. Miss spring training, but damn it, don't miss the stretch run. Don't have a kid in October if your kid's good. Don't have one on opening day. There's books. I got a book if any of you out there wants a damn kid. It's called How to Choose the Sex of Your Baby. It's 8 for 8. My first wife worked in a gynecology office that we wanted to have a boy. He said, do what this book says. I did it. My brother did it. My sister did it. A bunch of our friends. It's 8 for freaking 8. You can plan these things. I know it's a miracle. I know some people can't. I give them an exemption. But if you can, plan these goddamn things.
I love we just did a full segment, a dummy's guide to raw dogging in the offseason. That's what makes this show the best damn thing that's out there right now. A dummy's guide to off-season raw dogging.
I think we got to go out on that note.
Hey, if either of you need the book, I got it over here. A buddy of mine just returned it, so we'll see. Maybe it's 9 for 9. Hell, I don't know. Have a great weekend. Hey, last thing, Hammer, I need a bet. I told you my bet, right? The Indiana bet.
Yes.
Indiana Heisman and the MVP. You got a degenerate special for us before we leave?
Degenerate special. You can't call yourself a degenerate if you're not betting directional Michigan in the MAC. Central Michigan plus 5.5. Better quarterbacks getting points. They can swing it. Eastern Michigan, I believe. It's a directional Michigan matchup. So give me the better quarterback, getting the points, 5.5 on the road, hitting his passes at around 60, 70% this year. Their defense stinks, but they're catching points. So if you're going to go full degenerate, Maction, directional Michigan, taking the points.
Well, I'm going to do it now. Central Michigan is at home, by the way. They're not on the road.
Who are they playing? Is it Eastern? Then it's Eastern catching the points. I'm getting my directional Michigans confused here. But Noah is the name of the quarterback, and the kid can sling it.
What team's he on?
Directional Michigan.
There's 2 of them. Central
I think there's
and
3.
Eastern.
There's 5. There's 7. They're all the
Guy's
same.
such a degenerate. He made a bet and he can't even keep straight what team he bet, where they are. He's like, I don't know. I got a bet card of 30 bets. How am I supposed to remember this one?
Noah, quarterback. All right. It's really not coming up, but I like the Ark. Are we going with the Ark? Is that what we're going with? This guy's so good. We're taking points on Noah. Noah Fidia? No, he's with the Wildcats.
No.
Okay, Dan, he gave us the wrong team. It's Eastern Michigan. He gave us the wrong team in the matchup. He's betting Eastern Michigan on the road at Central Michigan plus 5.5.
All right. I'm glad
You guys,
we got
I
that
gave you a
cleared
lot
up.
of tech last week, and you guys are treating me like I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, you just said the wrong team and gave them the wrong quarterback. I mean, what you're like, oh, you guys are
can't
giving
pronounce
me
the
shit.
word both, and you're going to sit there and try to give us a lecture.
You just
on
said both. You just said both.
Oh, I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, wait
You
a
both
second. Hold
kiss
on.
my
Now,
ass.
now, that's right in the playbook of the Real Housewives of Westfield. Say something stupid, people call you on it, and now you're all defensive and you're all freaking victimhood. See?
Yeah.
See? You
Democrat.
can't say an L.
Democrat.
That's the Democrat.
I'll expect a thank you text when that Eastern ticket cashes.
Too late. I already bet
So
Central
it's
Michigan.
Eastern.
It's your fault.
We all bet Central. The whole place bets Central. Boy, if Central wins, we're going to hound your ass. Appreciate you guys. See ya. We'll be right back. I think. Are we coming back? Might as well. Got nothing else to do. Dylan and I like this bet, and we're going to talk about it in the damn awards. Play the stinger, baby. Man, that looks so Oscar-ish. I love it. Studs of the week last week, Fernando Mendoza just went bat blank crazy. He's a quarterback that transferred from Cal to Indiana. Missed on 2 passes all game. The Hoosiers scored 63 points, and early in the game, when it was still a game, he dazzled. I mean, he dazzled to the point where I'm sitting there watching. All of a sudden, texts started coming in from Tom Luganbill, our own Trey Wallace. Holy cow, all he was doing was just throwing dimes. He's got a good receiver core, and there's not a special group. The Mateer kid is out. The quarterback up there at Oregon is certainly a candidate, but the Heisman Trophy is right now going through IU and Fernando Mendoza. Remember Mike Renner came on our show? He's with the CBS and their draft analysis, their draft experts. He said he thinks he's the number 1 pick in the draft. He's certainly playing like it. Hey, the SEC announced a bunch of new schedules. They kept permanent opponents, and those permanent opponents are pretty good. You know, rivalries will be intact to the much of the relief of fans, the chagrin of coaches. I saw Lane Kiffin not happy because he's got to play Oklahoma. Well, you know what? You're in a big boy league playing big boy teams with big boy money. You got to strap on your big boy pants and take a swing. But I think it's fascinating. You know, Greg Sankey, and the rest of the SEC, they're ahead of things. You know, the Big Ten is as well. And to the point earlier made, I don't know if it'd be so bad coaching at a place like Clemson as opposed to the Big Ten or the SEC. You got easier opponents. Maybe it's easier to build a program, but Kurt Signetti says no, it's very easy to build a program at Indiana. Losers of the week, Mike Gundy. I don't know. I think, and I bet you, Oklahoma State administrators were and have been a little bit taken aback by the popularity of Mike Gundy after they shit-canned him. I would think that they go, wait a second here. I thought we were going to be on the right side of this. And maybe they are in their own world with fans. But if you go to X, at least the X that I see, you see a ton of former players thanking Mike Gundy. You see guys like Des Bryant and others saying, you believed in me. There should be a statue. You're the greatest to ever do it at this school. I would imagine, like Indiana. You know, I always equate things to Indiana and Bob Knight. When Indiana fired Bob Knight, they thought they were on the right side because they listened to a very vocal minority. I just wonder, watching X, if that's the case here with Gundy. Probably not. Sure seems like it, though. And the other, honest to God, 15.5 game lead in baseball, while certainly in football, you get my point. Baseball is a long season, but damn, in July, 9-game lead 2 weeks ago, in September, early September, and you literally go 1-10 while your opponent goes 10-1, and you blow that lead. The Detroit Tigers with a really good pitching staff. Wow, that ain't good. Craziest story of the week. Listen to this. Australian skydiver broke a world record with an insane 309-mile-an-hour fastball. She shattered her own record, hitting a top speed of 309.01 miles per hour during a jump at the FAI World Cup of Speed Skydiving. Davey, if we're going to skydive, like sex, nice and slow, gets it done. We don't need speed skydiving. Davey, I'd never heard of this. What do you think?
I didn't even know that was a thing, Dan. I don't know, like, I get the idea of skydiving. It's not for me. The risk is not worth the reward. I'm not one of these adrenaline junkies that's going to get a lot from that. But it's like, hey, we can take this and go even faster. Okay, let's try to break world records by just skydiving faster.
She was asked, what does falling at 300 plus miles per hour actually feel like? She said, the only thing I can put it to that relates to people that don't skydive, putting your hand out of a car window at 100 kilometers per hour and then times that by 5. Eek. I'm with you. I have no interest in skydiving. The risk against the reward is perfect. I have no interest in paragliding. I did once, and I took out a family of 5 on the beach when the guy couldn't get me up. Davey, I got no interest in none of it. Let's woke-a-dope, shall we? Woke-a-dope. Uh-oh, what are Democrats doing now? What are you angry about? Everybody's angry. Remember when illegals got shipped to Martha's Vineyard? They called the National Guard and had them removed within 24 hours with no due process. I do. And the ladies were awesome. Oh, we love our neighbors. We're going to let you go elsewhere. They basically, what we used to call it, they grin fucked them. They smiled in their face all the time. They want to take their place. They're backstabbers. Backstabbers. Next. Abort our own children, import hostile immigrants, and disarm yourself. Huh. That's pretty much it in a nutshell with the good folks at wherever the hell this is, the Democrats, the liberals. You know, to quote a very good friend of mine growing up, Danny, that don't make no damn sense. It just don't make no damn sense. But here we are. Another day, another liberal. Next. Americans aren't disgusted because you're a woman of color. It's because you're hateful, anti-American, racist. I say this all the time. I said it to Hammer. I know we got to go. Make bold statements, these 3. This is the victim mentality that Will Kane so adroitly pointed out has replaced any other mentality. Make bold statements. Have somebody point it out to you, come back at you harshly, go to victim status, go to race, go to something that protects you. That's the playbook. See you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.